Voting is underway for the next president of the United States. Will it be Kamala Harris or Donald Trump? And what will that mean for Canada? I'm now joined by Concordia University political science professor Graham Dodds. Thank you very much for joining us, Graham. Let's get right into it. What do you think will happen tonight? Will it take until Saturday, like it did in 2020, to find out who won?
It's going to depend on how close the actual vote approximates the polls. The polls have been saying for weeks now this thing is going to be incredibly close, and if it is, it's going to take days to count the votes. In my home state of Pennsylvania, they probably won't start to count the vote that's already been mailed in, including my own, until the next few days. So it could take a couple days. If, however, this is not as close as people predict, we might know late tonight.
We have two very different candidates. How could each one change the direction of the United States over the next 4 years?
Yeah, they are quite different. I mean, they're always different, but this time around, I think especially so. If Kamala Harris wins, it'll be in part more of the same. I mean, after all, she's been part of the Biden administration the last 4 years, so we're familiar with that. If, however, Donald Trump wins, we got to think back to what life was like 4 years ago. It would be very different indeed. Utterly different priorities, different politics. These are not similar candidates at all.
Donald Trump is once again the Republican candidate. Why has he remained popular for so many years?
I think that's a hard question to answer. I think there are a lot of Republicans who kind of ask that themselves. I mean, he sort of took over the Republican Party ever since he announced his candidacy back in 2015, and people were reluctant to fall in line behind him, but then he won in 2016, and the party is his now. The Republican Party of days gone by is gone. This party is Donald Trump's party. He owns it. So post-Trump, who knows what will happen, but today's Republicans are not the Republicans of days past.
And what have you seen from Kamala during her presidential campaign and from her work as vice president that would give American voters a reason to vote for her?
Well, she's quite different in terms of Trump. I mean, Trump is all about grievance, and she's kind of channeling the old Obama hope and change, and I think many people find that more positive message attractive.
And what would that mean, though, for the United States in terms of a Donald Trump second term? Could that be that much different than the first?
I think it could. I mean, the first time around, by some accounts, Trump didn't honestly think he would win, so he wasn't prepared, and early on, his administration was kind of flat-footed and not really prepared for the big leagues. This time around, they've been getting ready for a long time. I think he's ready to hit the ground running. I think he would do far more than he did the first time. I mean, the first time his bark was worse than his bite. This time around, he's going to bite.
And what are the most important issues for voters in this election?
I think it depends who they're voting for. If you're a Trump person, you're all worried about, you think the economy is terrible and you're worried about immigration and crime. If you're a Kamala Harris supporter, you really want to break from Trump. You want to put him in the rearview mirror and hope for better days ahead.
And what does a Harris win mean for Canada and vice versa, a Trump win?
Yeah, this will depend in large part on who wins Congress. We've got to remember that it's not just about the president, but who's in control of the House and Senate. If it's Democrats all around, things will be kind of as they are right now. If Trump wins and he has strong majorities in both the House and Senate, things could be very different indeed. Think back to 4 years ago. We're talking about redoing trade deals and having tariffs, and it would be unpleasant.
Thank you for joining us, Graham. Stay tuned to City News on digital and broadcast for more U.S. election coverage.